Okay, now we've finished decorating Suckalucka. Hi, this is John from Stupid Robot Fighting League, and it's a bit exciting for us. We've just had some decent media coverage here in New Zealand, and so what we're doing now is we are looking at building our next robot. Just a reminder, our Kickstarter campaign is still going. If you want to go to Kickstarter and support Stupid Robot Fighting League, all you need to do is just search for Stupid Robot Fighting League on Kickstarter. There's nothing else like it. And if you can support us, that'd be great. So let's have a look at our next robot. As stipulated by one of our Kickstarter supporters, well, actually they're a pair. That's Awesome and Belinda Develter. This is the beginnings of the robot Suckalucka. So he's going to be based from a vacuum cleaner, kindly donated by Shane Reha. Thank you, Shane. And so what I'm going to do is, firstly I'm going to clean the rusty water off it, just so it doesn't get all over my hands. And then what we're going to do is strip it down to its parts and see what we can make from at least this. I think we're going to need other parts from something else to sort of bulk it out, but I think we'll get some good, we'll get a couple of good arms from the hose, and yeah, so we'll go from there. So we've got Suckalucka's main pieces cleaned up, sort of, as much as I care to anyway. The meths seem to shift that sort of rusty stuff. I did try and dust it off, but there seemed to be some sort of oily sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, residue or something that was just stopping it from moving. So the meths anyway seem to work fairly well. So what we're going to do now is we are going to strip the vacuum cleaner. So we've got our vacuum cleaner stripped down to create Suckalucka. Now what I'm thinking is, if I was to keep the entire vacuum cleaner body for the actual body of the robot itself, he would end up far too tall in the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my what's it called, jigsaw, and I'll cut around here so his body will just be from here to here. So I'll be interested to see what I can do with this part. Obviously we've got that fits in there, but that would be boring, I think. So we'll see what we can do, and but I've got some options for eyes, probably those two there, and I was thinking of making this the actual head, because it almost lends itself to having eyes and a mouth. So we'll see. Anyway, I shall keep you posted, and if you haven't noticed, I am doing product placement. I'm not getting paid for it, it's just this is fantastic ginger beer. So if you ever have a hankering for some awesome ginger beer, get Cultured, do really cool ginger beer. Some of the finest jigsaw work there you'll ever see on YouTube, I think. Been separated from the bottom, and I think you can kind of get the idea. Quite an ugly looking mug, but we don't build our robots here to make them look attractive as such. We decorate them, but we're not after cutesy. That just happens by accident. Anyway, so we need to think about what we're going to do with the rest of the thing. What I'll do now is I'll lay out my template so I can get an idea of the layout of parts and what we'll need to fill in as far as gaps go. Not met Scott John before. He's pretty much the standard template for Stupid Robot Fighting League. He seems to be about the right height, the right width, and so all we start doing is laying out parts. So I can grab his head. That'll do for the head and the neck. We'll obviously, if this part gives, then we'll just have to, what I'll do probably previous to this is just drill a hole so I can run a wire through should his neck give out. But we'll use that for now, and we'll see how it holds up, because it will be holding the rest of the body, the weight of it, but we'll see how it holds out. So I can take the body here, and that's pretty much a good fit for the body. So next we need to start thinking about the arms. So for the show, the teams will be supplied just a trace out on a piece of cardboard like this. So they'll have their workbench and they'll lay out, they'll strip down and lay out the parts as they become available to the teams. So I have cut all the parts off, and I've managed to get enough to make the entire body of Suckalucka, and so we may have a few bits to decorate with. There's not much left of the vacuum cleaner. I pulled the motor out, and that's going to metal recycling along with the screws and anything metal. But so these bits here are the bottom part, just cut in half with the jigsaw, and that's the cover flap to access the there's a word for it, to access the bag, in the vacuum cleaner bag. Anyway, so there's some bits of pipe and stuff. You know, I could have used a hose for all these sections here, but I think that would be defeating the purpose as far as making it look out of bits, you know. So you're keeping your joints, which can all fail, and I think that's keeping within the spirit of stupid robot fighting, because the wire is generally what fails, and that's what you get your action and drama from, and that's what we're trying to encourage. One pro tip, is when you put your wire through your holes, put your twists at the back. That's mainly for beautification, because as you know, with stupid robot fighting, it's all about beautification. So just keep that in mind. Keep your twists at the back, and that will make it look pretty cool. And behold, we now have Suckalucka, the vacuum-based fighting robot, undecorated, but wired together. So what I'll have to do is the usual. I'll double up the wire here, and I'll double up the wire here because it has to bear the weight of the whole robot. Keeping in mind that this is a thicker gauge wire. We're trying 1 gauge up. This is a 1.25mm wire. So this should in theory be more sturdier than the rest of the robot, so it'll fall apart less often, I guess. That will be revealed. But so it's so we'll double up those, double up that. I may this shoulder joints may be problematic. I may have to drill 2 holes to keep this out like that, but we'll see how it performs. See, Sam's just modding it there. Yep, but no, I'm quite happy with that. So thanks to Belinda and Awesome for the name. Just a note, Suckalucka weighs in at about 4 kilos, which is a good sort of middle weight. He shouldn't be too cumbersome. At about 5.5 to 6 kilos, the way that's built at the moment seems to be a bit laborious. But yeah, so he's got nice big fists anyway, and nice big feet, so those should come in handy for a bust up. Sweet. I'd just like to, after decorating Suckalucka, go over the additional features that were included. We'll start off at the head, which we have some nice dark eyebrows, which were used from the, it's like part of the seals of the vacuum cleaner, and these are for extra intimidation. The ocular implants are for additional accuracy, and the rotating mouth here is just for a deflection of punches. If you notice the nice jewels there, my daughter likes to put those on while I'm decorating the robot. This minion here actually fulfills a similar role to the droid R2-D2, so this can actually perform repairs during the actual fight should anything come awry. Now this is the button of possible awesomeness, okay? And so when you press this button, something awesome might happen, but then again it might not. And this is just a stuck-on piece of plastic. We needed to identify the fact that this is a 1000-watt robot. Okay, so it's not a 500-watt robot, it's actually a 1000-watt robot. And we stuck a hand here for extra power during punches. And this is just another stuck-on piece of plastic. But other than that, that's all the features of Suckalucka. I'm not going to add any more, but I think this should be more than an adversary for anyone who should come along. So that's the end of the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and remember that we have a Kickstarter running at the moment. Please go and check that out at Kickstarter.com and just search for Stupid Robot Fighting League. There is nothing like it on the internet that I know of. Thanks.